G'day, g'day, all you beautiful people. It's wonderful to see you again today on your Monday afternoon, Tuesday, midday, Sunday night. I don't know where the fuck you are, but that's great. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining me. And also thank you for joining me, Austin, the TO of Kippers Mele. Mate, how's it going?
Great. How are you, Dan?
Oh, look, I am okay, but I did just realize that I actually haven't poured myself a drink yet. So that's what the
Oh, no.
start of this year, right? So devastating way to start the show in an alcohol-free zone. So that's what we're going to start with right now while we're chatting. We are still drinking spiced rum old fashions for those who are playing at home. Are you having a drink of anything at the moment, or are you being
Yeah,
good?
I got a can of Sneaky Weasel.
Sneaky Weasel. Good, good. I have to say, one of the things I'm loving about Canada so far is the name of, like, the beer names here are great. Or, like, everything just has, like, Trash Panda. Like, I was drinking a hazy IPA called Trash Panda, and I was like, that is the fucking bomb diggity. I'm still punching in there. Tomb King Tristan, it's 11:07 p.m. out in that side, which is obviously a little bit late. It's 3 a.m. How am I so excitable, Orc Boy Phil? Because I'm powered by alcohol and caffeine. Mr. Selwood, g'day, good to see you, mate. After that thrashing that I put your... I just heard your can open as well. That sounded really satisfying. Mr. Selwood, after that thrashing... No, not thrashing. It was a really tight game against his Sylvaneth the other day. Orc Boy Phil, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Budtastic Guy, hi, you delicious snack. Rob, Tomb King Tristan pointing out Rob is dead. Rob is not dead, Rob is risen. He's like a Primarch in the 40k universe. He can't go down. Horace86, g'day, g'day. Long lived, yes. I have replaced Rob. I ate his heart to gain his strength. But that's okay. But he didn't bring the DQ. Good. Gnomes Bank, g'day. Good to see you, everybody. Dad Hammer. It's the morning over there, of course. That's yes. The Horace86 is at uni at the moment, but clearly KO is on the rise, and we will be talking about that. Bucket Ninja, g'day. Sorry, ladies and gents, before we get to the most important start of the show, which I know you're all here for, the reason that we come so early to the show, the big old starty section that I know you know and love, and I will say, Austin and I were just talking just before, because I think this week is the best nudes we've seen. Now, does that intimidate you at all? Are you excited for this? How does that make you feel?
Oh man, I can't wait. This is exciting
Yeah.
because I've seen some good ones on the show.
There have been some real good ones where I won't lie, these ones came in and they are. I got to say, there's a lot of artistic merit to them. There's a lot going on. Nemesis, g'day, mate. Tomb King Tristan calling for a nerf to KO. Did you see that KO took out the capital city bloodbath?
No way.
Yeah, mate. I got the list. We'll have a talk about it in a little bit. But yeah, KO went 6-0. 6-game tournament
What?
that KO took out. Yeah, right? Fuck me. And this is the best part. 2 boats. 2 fucking boats. An
Oh my
ironclad
God.
and a frigate. Yeah, we'll talk about it all. It's shorts down. Yes, Green Wag. Mate, I will see you at Attack X. I'm picking up my ticket this evening. Cool Bunny, good to see you. Dad Hammer remembering KO doing well at earlier this year at CanCon, still the largest singles Age of Sigmar event in the world. KO were on the top table, game 6. They went 5-1 and lost to Khorne on the last one. KO went 6-0, and we will talk about this in a moment. Now, Austin, you are here to talk about your event, Kippers Mele, which we will get to, but you are a viewer of the show, I take it?
Yep, I've seen a handful of episodes.
So you know what we're about to do?
I very much
You
do.
very much do. Everyone in the chat, you know what we're about to do. Sing it out loud and proud. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to send some nudes. Now, nudes, for those who may be listening along and cannot see, nude stands for nice, unique drawings everyone scribbled. So members of the public or people in the chat send in their usually Microsoft Paint painted images over the course of the week. I will verbally describe them to you, Austin, because I know you can't see a screen right now, and then you are going to review them on whatever scale you like. So you can choose, they can be, I've had Ricky from Dimensional Cascades graded them on paints. Then I've had, they've been rated out of 8 discrete penises, sometimes just a traditional 10 scale, once a 13 because it was a Skaven player. So you can rate them however you like and in whatever way. Are you ready to send nudes?
I am ready.
You are ready, great. Okay, so now this is I don't know. They're both so good. They're both so good. I don't know where to start, but you know what? We're gonna start with this one. In fact, these nudes were so good. I'm gonna just start leaving them digitally so that people can see the file that got sent to me, and so that I can put them up even bigger than just printing them out. So this is what we're gonna start with. Ladies and gentlemen, your first nude of the evening. It is a very reasonably well drawn Stormcast prosecutor, like the flyy, flappy bastards. He's sitting on a chair. Now, I want to describe this to you. It looks like it's been drawn mostly out of like boxes, like squares, because like there's a couple of big square pecs with nipples that look like they're staring at me because it's got nips.
Are the nipples square?
I think they're round. I think the nipples are round on a couple of big square pecs. There's a square body with then square abs. So there's the six pack and like a waist and legs and little feetsies. And even the helmet, it's for Microsoft Paint, very, very well done, Stephen. You've done a good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's titled Old Meta Support Group, and this prosecutor is sitting down on a chair, and there's a little speech bubble that says, "I was a contender. Netlists everywhere loved and feared me. I was a god." And he has very, very angry eyebrows and a very angry face. Clearly a throwback to the old, what was it called? Harbinger Chamber, when they could just fucking drop down out of the sky and fuck everybody up. And I love it. This nude speaks to me because I got fucked up by Harbinger Chamber a couple of times, and then I would like zone it out, and suddenly it wasn't anywhere near as scary. Did you ever have to play against a Harbinger Chamber?
No, I didn't. I'm still a Stormcast player, but I can say I never went with a prosecutor heavy route. So.
Right. Okay. Yep. So you never really lent into that heavy flappy boy, because what they used to do, for those who don't know, it was fucked up. And if you missed this point in the meta, bless you, because you never had to put up with this shit. But what they would do is there would be 30 liberators on the table in one big unit. They'd get buffed the fuck up, so like a 2-up, re-rolling 1 armor save, and then like extra attacks and exploding hits and all that shit. And then prosecutors could like teleport down, and the 30 liberators could be teleported to the prosecutors, but there was no distance they had to be from your opponent. So they could literally just like, or it was with an Xeros or some shit like that, they could be set up in your opponent's army, so deployed into combat. No roll for a charge, no nothing, no fucking chance of failure. And then they would just fuck your shit up so hard, it felt like nothing happened. And usually it'd be like turn one. Turn one, they're just like, eat a sack of dicks because they didn't put anything on the table. And then very quickly, Vanguard Wing, I think it was called. Yes, that's the one, Dad Hammer. And then very quickly, we didn't see this in the meta anymore because basically people kind of got over it and new shiny shit came out. Do you have any prosecutors? Just in your collection? I do. Yeah. And when was the last time they saw some table?
Oh. I couldn't even tell you.
Right. Okay. So
I don't...
as a Stormcast player who didn't even go the Vanguard Wing, you got prosecutors, but they're definitely in this old meta support group.
Yep.
Yeah, good, fair. Dad Hammer in the chat saying that he owns like 100 prosecutors. So there we go. Unfortunately, the sequiturs and the evocators and everything came out and just kind of put him to shame. Do you have any feelings on this art piece? Do you have any questions about it before you pass judgment and give it a score?
Sure. Let's see. Is it just black and white, or is there color?
Oh, it's color. There's a lot of color.
Oh.
So the armor is like gold yellow surrounded in like, and it's even got an outline in like a deeper yellow or orange or some shit. It's sitting on a black chair. The wings are white and like they have the little hangy downy bits that the model has.
Okay.
And then the face is skin, and there's a grumpy like frowny mouth, and the eyes have angry eyebrows. Very like the slant of the angry eyebrow is quite close to perpendicular. They're very grumpy eyebrows. Anything else you need to know?
No, I think that's about covers everything there.
All right. And so, are you ready to pass judgment on this? Do you want to give it a score?
Sure. Let's see. Well, I work in a dairy department, so let's go with a scale of eggs.
Eggs? Okay, great. We're going on an egg scale. And obviously, is this going to be by the dozen then? Because eggs come
By the dozen?
Yep. All right, sweet. So will you be scoring... How many eggs out of a dozen eggs does this get?
Oh, let's see. Well, I'm a little biased because I still love my Stormcast.
Fair. Oh, this show is all about bias. We are not a fair show. Bias is great.
So I'll go with 11 plus 1 cracked egg.
11 and 1. So it's like you got the box home and then checked it out and found that there was one that wasn't great.
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
That's accurate. That's where we're feeling. Okay, so 11 good eggs in the dozen and 1 cracked egg for the old meta support group prosecutor. Now, the thing I also kind of love in there is that whoever's put it in there maybe has like a little bit of old movie love, because that line, "I was a contender," very popular from the old, like, I could have been a contender. So for those who don't get that one, I'm not going to bother explaining it. But yeah, okay, groovy. In the chat, let us know what you would have given it out of a dozen eggs. Now, that is our rating system for the day, is out of a dozen. Cool Bunny loving the egg scale grading. Big fan, so that's good. Obviously, maybe more things should be graded out of dozen eggs. Grixty just made it. The postman himself, the I believe still one and only man to create stats for Swifthawk agents. Good to see you, mate. You're a beautiful chunk. I love you. Budtastic, mightiest kitty. Not a fan of the Stormcast, saying that they are boring, and I do agree sometimes. I think sometimes Stormcast can be quite static, which is where, as a player, I like to see when Stormcast players do some creative shit with their lists. Instead of just dropping like 40 sequiturs and 10 evocators and then stand there and look at you and be like, well, I'm not moving. You fucking come to me. So I do agree, but I think they can be interesting because I think now they've got such a big model range. They've got some cool stuff. Cool Bunny, not being as biased towards Stormcast, only gives it a 6 egg. It's only a half dozen for Cool Bunny. However, she plays Daughters of Cain and Slanesh, so her opinion is questionable at the best of times. No, you're fucking lovely, and I love you, V. Good to see you in the chat. Okay, on to our second nude. Now, I told you that these were some hot nudes. Now, the quality of that one is very high, and obviously getting an 11 and a cracked egg out of a dozen. Our second and final nude. This one, I lost it when I saw it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because there's so much to take in. It's quite a layered piece. There's a lot going on. And I just think that there's so much to do. Vanilla just asked in the chat, watching the show on a 65-inch television, well, then you're about to see this beautiful nude on a 65-inch television, which I'm very excited for you about. All right, Osman, I'm going to pull it up now, and I'm going to try and paint this picture for you so that you can appreciate just how ridiculous this nude is. This nude appears to be on some kind of a farm. In fact, we know it's some kind of a farm because there's a little like wooden-esque looking sign that says Depravity Farms. Now we've got it. I think it's meant to be night because there's like a dark blue sky and a dark green ground, and then there's like a red barn with a little Slanesh symbol on the top. But it's obviously where they're farming depravity points because inside, I think these are meant to be Stormcast as well. There are a whole lot of what appear to be Stormcast sitting on boxes in a barn on Depravity Farms with money in their hands, throwing money at a Keeper of Secrets that looks like it is standing on a stage. So I think what we're seeing in this nude is just so many different things. We're seeing where depravity points truly come from. And they come from Stormcast, like the little. I'm assuming they're Stormcast because they're gold. Actually, very similar to our last Stormcast. They're like golden yellow people, and they've got like green dollar bill like notes in their hands, and they're throwing it. There's some on the floor in front of. We only see the Keeper of Secrets' legs though, because of the angle of the house barn thing, and it is a red barn. So yeah, this one. Do we have any other questions? Can I illuminate you as to what we're seeing here?
Man, that was a pretty damn good description.
I'm glad. I want you afterwards. I want you to watch back the show and then let me know if I did it justice.
Absolutely.
There's 4 Stormcast. I think 1, 2, 3. No, 5. There's five Stormcast. And it looks like 3 of them have money, and there's some on the ground in front of the Keeper of Secrets on its little. It looks like it's in like a ring of light or a stage or something. There's some suggestions from the chat as to what they think the score is, but before we go to that, I want to know what you think, Austin. What do you think this one is worth? What's this nude out of the 12 egg scale, or the deli egg scale rather?
Okay, well, let's see. Overall, sounds good, sounds funny, but I actually almost lost it because it went over my head at first until you said farming depravity points.
Yep.
And I almost burst out laughing. I had to contain myself there.
Well, I won't lie. I think there might be other ways to farm depravity points, but they probably belong in some kind of weird thing that Facebook keeps telling me that I should look at, that I'm like, Facebook, you shouldn't be advertising this. So what do we feel? What are we thinking?
For the overall quality of what I'm hearing here, and the epic pun of depravity farming, I would have to give that not only a solid 12,
not a solid 12,
a solid 1 dozen eggs. I would say it's a solid 12 free-range eggs.
Oh, it's big. Oh, they're free-range. You know that these chickens didn't grow up in cages. No cages. So 12 free-range eggs. This is that's the height of egg, right?
That is the epitome.
That is the best egg out there. And this is why, obviously, why the scaling is very important to the listener. Because like some people in the chat were suggesting a baker's dozen, which of course, like a baker's dozen, 13 eggs, which is good, but still not free range, you know. Budtastic suggested 12 egg Benedicts. It's that amazing. Cool Bunny thinks a dozen. Vanilla Just Sass saying 18. Because they can just pop over the limit. And I agree, but the thing that we didn't have was a pro. And clearly, you are the man in the know, because those free-range eggs, those 12 free-range eggs, is what this deserved.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so that concludes Andy Selwood in the chat, Mr. Selwood. Tio of another upcoming event, Attack X, saying that it's excellent. So thank you for bringing this world of pumps. Yeah, thank you. Where could we go without it? So thank you. So a competitive send nudes, but taken out by Depravity Farms. And I'm so sorry, I can't remember who sent that one in. But just fucking great. Just really, really good. I loved it. Everyone loved it. We all had a good time. We learnt something as well about ourselves and about how we feel. and we feel like throwing money at a keeper of secrets performing in a weird farmhouse, which is, yep, cool. That's the thing. But let's it's time to move on. We've got so many other things that we do need to chat about. And the first among them, I guess, that we might quickly touch on for a little bit before we jump into the thing that we're here to talk about, obviously being Kippers Mele, is some results that we've had come through over the weekend. Now, we were chatting about this off air just before, and those of you who were in the chat from the start heard us say this, but some of you might be a little bit late to the party. And if you are, what I would like to bring to your attention are the results from the Capital City Bloodbath. This is a 6-game tournament, right? Like, I don't, it wasn't a 5er, it was a 6er. Only one list won 6 whole games. And that list was the KO. It was the Cadron Overlords, which just is fucking beyond belief. Personally,
I can't even believe
yeah,
it.
right? Like, when we were talking about it, I was like, had you heard about this? You're like, no, fuck off, bullshit. And when I got, this was messaged to me, right? Like, I reckon about 30 seconds after it happened, I had like 2-3 people message me being like, did you fucking hear? Did you know this? This just fucking happened. And I was like, fuck off. That's not a thing. That definitely didn't happen. Fake news. It's all fake news. It's not fake news. This legit happened. And so first was KO. It was a Zilfin list. The other lists that topped were, second was Slanesh, third, fourth, and fifth were Flesh Eater Courts.
Holy shit.
Yeah, right. Like, it is a competitive top. It's a very power top.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, also not a small field as well. 42 players, which is quite respectable. So to do it, it done did good. And now the lists, people can find them on Best Coast Pairings and whatnot if they want to check it out. But at the end of the day, the thing that we got to appreciate is that KO have had their dicks kicked in for like the last 2 to 3 years.
It's been awful.
Yeah,
Awful.
Yeah, and so we saw them do relatively well at CanCon at the start of this year, and the list that actually did this was quite interesting. But yeah, so a few people in the chat saying 6 games seems like a lot. It does, but when you do have a bigger field, that 6th game means that you don't have people all with like 5 wins vying for the top place. Dadhammer pointing out that that it probably played a couple of those Flesh Eater Courts armies and had the shooting to take stuff off turn 1, which I completely agree. We'll look at the list in just a second. Orc Boy Phil saying, loaded dice, amazing luck, or a really excellent player who knows their list. I would say that it's probably the latter with a little bit of amazing luck. But we do play War Dollies, we don't play chess, so at the end of the day, we are always rolling the dice with Lady Luck. Mightiest Kitty, not surprised, dwarves are number 1 because they have beards. I agree with you. This is a totalitarian pro-beard propaganda show. Gnomesbane, not shitting on KO, but with the amount of Flesh Eater Courts, like, it kind of makes sense because Zilfin are really good against flying. But yeah, so the thing for me that the kind of, yeah, like really did it was so we'll pull the list up just so that people can have a quick look at that KO list. So it is definitely spec'd to be good against flyers, like, without a doubt. Looking at this, you've got a frigate with a heavy sky cannon, which is good at high rend multi-wounds. You've got an ironclad with a volley cannon, which is just a fuck ton of shots. There's a couple of units of Sky Wardens for shooting, 15 Grundstock Thunderers with rifles, 9 Endrin Riggers, and then 30 Arcanauts, 2 units of 10 with Skyhooks, 1 unit of 10 with volley guns, and Ether Chemist, obviously, just probably to mostly give extra attacks to the either the Skyhooks or the Endrin Riggers, and then an Etheric Navigator just for a cheap, durable hero with an Unbind, I'm guessing. But 2 boats. When was the last fucking time we saw a list do anywhere near okay with KO with 2 boats? And that's where I reckon the points drops that they got in the new General's Handbook is going to make a bit of a difference. Yourself, what's your emotional feeling about KO?
Well, my brother has KO, and
So
He's been having a rough go with them.
yep. So you've
Clearly.
seen firsthand that it's not. It hasn't been a good time to be a KO player.
Not at all. Um, it's
Yep.
he still loves the army.
Mm.
He just gets super frustrated when you play a game and you get your shit pushed in. That's not fun.
Yep.
So well, I gotta make sure my brother sees this list because he might start playing again real soon.
Yeah, well, so the one thing that does strike me about this list is that it very clearly is leaning heavily on shooting, right? And I think all of the top armies that we're seeing do really well at the moment, Slanesh, Flesh Eater Courts, Gloomspite, a lot of them have combat phase shenanigans. They're really neg in combat. They're quite heavy in a lot of areas, but they're not so durable against shooting, which is why everyone's joking that the shooting meta is coming back, and I fucking love seeing this. I won't lie in being quite surprised that this list went 6-0 because it probably like one matchup against like a Plague Bear and Nurgle list that can suddenly make their shooting a lot more unreliable, and this list falls apart. However, really clever play. And the other thing that I like is there's not a big 30 blob of Arcanauts. There's 2 3s of Skywardens, and outside of the Endrinriggers and the Thunderers, it's all quite small units, so they can be quite fast.
Really?
Yeah. So I think that that's actually clever, right? Because usually you see a big 30 or a 40 of Arcanauts, so the Ether Chemist can be like, hey man, yeah, Skyhooks. Fucking bring on 24 Skyhook shots. Let's do that. That's usually where you see the play. But going with 3 10s of Arcanauts, 2 3s of Skywardens means you've kind of got like 5 units that can be flicking around the table trying to capture objectives. So yeah, I see it as real useful. They're shooting units that don't need to be in combat, so they can be on an objective fucking plopping away from the back, or they can zip upwards. And the 2 boats probably gives it a lot more flexibility too. And one of the rules that I think a lot of Barak Zilfin players forget, which we saw devastatingly Kron forget in the final at CanCon, which actually kind of might have lost them their game, or at least taken them definitely out of contention, is they have a rule called There's Always a Wind Where You Look For It, which lets you, in the hero phase, make a move with one of your ships. Now, 9 times out of 10, KO players bring an Ironclad or a frigate, load it the fuck up with a ton of riggers, and then just drop it down. Having 2 boats gives this list a lot more flexibility, and I fucking like seeing it. Do you know, so your brother playing KO, do you know what he's running, what he's looking at?
Well, let's see. Which ones were the stabby flyer guys? Was those the engine riggers?
So the riggers are the ones with the better attack, but only 1 attack each on their profile. And the Skywardens have the slightly worse attack, but they've got 2 attacks on profile.
Okay.
So usually,
now I think about it, he probably ran both.
Usually the riggers are the stabby ones, because you put an Ether Chemist on them and they just fucking carve through things.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what my brother would run. That was his favorite unit. He felt that was like the only unit that would do work in the army for a while.
Usually they were the ones to do the work. It was either a shit ton of Skyhooks or a big blob of Endrinriggers. But yeah, I dig this list. I'm super stoked that it did well because it's really fucking interesting. It does something different that we haven't seen a crazy amount of before. And yeah, I got to admit, I like it. I like what it's doing. It tickles me in a good spot. And I mean, this show obviously always quite happy to see them do well. But yeah, Gnome's Bane warms your heart to see, even though you are the bane of short creatures, I'm glad that it makes you happy. Vanilla Sass saying that you like the Endrins on the frigate, which I think is also a really clever thing, because 9 times out of 10, it's an Ironclad with the Endrins. So you've got a big, expensive gun platform that lands and then is out of touch with the rest of the list. It's kind of out there in the middle of its own place. When now, putting it on the frigate means you've kind of got a throwaway boat, and your Ironclad is this big, heavy shooting machine that just sits there and pumps your opponent away. So yeah, it's real clever, it's real good, and it gets a huge, big thumbs up from me. Congrats, Alex, you fucking legend. I think Dad Hammer mentioned a little bit earlier that they'll be doing an interview with him on Ethercast on YouTube later this week. So everyone go and check that out, because that'll be fucking awesome. And just we need to praise our new Admiral. And obviously you're going to immediately turn around and to be like, talk to your brother and be like, hey, why wasn't this you, right?
I might nag him a little bit to at least bring those KO out of retirement and give them another go.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon that's the thing. There are no bad armies, but there are good times to play armies. Budtastic, giving us the stats, the KO played Stormcast, Slanesh, Flesh Eater Courts, Skaven, and then Slanesh, which I would have to say that's kind of it's a good sign. Like, let's be honest, they took out the big bad, and not once, not twice, but all 5 fucking games. Like, at the moment, Stormcast are doing well, but realistically, that's the easiest matchup that the KO had there. 2 rounds against Slanesh, who are arguably the biggest shit kickers in the game. Now, shooting against them is just great, so it's not surprising they did well, but you still had to be able to get your shooting out, because Slanesh is so fast, they can fucking slingshot a keeper or a unit into your face turn 1 and fuck up half your army. So that's impressive. So Slanesh twice, and one of those being in the last round, which means that it was going up against a Slanesh player who hadn't lost a game. Flesh Eater Courts twice. Again, shooting great against Flesh Eater Courts. And then Skaven too, who are kind of the big bads as well. So that's, I think, everybody in the chat snaps for Alex, because that's not an easy run. It's a good series of matchups, and it's a well-placed army to take advantage of it. But fuck, like, let's say that you were playing a 6-game tournament, Austin, and you saw and you knew ahead of time that you were going to be playing Stormcast, Slanesh, Flesh Eater Courts, and Skaven. How would you feel about that?
Well, I think there'd be some serious potential to go at least 1-5.
You reckon if you knew ahead of time that was your matchup, you'd have 1?
Yeah. I mean, and even then, it's not a guaranteed one. But
No.
It'd be a good game.
No, I like the way you phrase that. You'd have potential to go 1-5. You know, like, it's not guaranteed. But yeah, I definitely think, like, there's even more credit than I even knew was deserved, because that's a fucking awesome round there. Gnome's Bane already giving shit to your KO buddy. Good. And Xtab pointing out that Mr. Gary Percival has been talking up KO as the Slanesh antidote, which I think is 100% right. Slanesh can't pull their combat shit if they never get into combat. But yeah, the BWG's Feather pointing out that the first Slanesh list only had like 1 hero. So fair enough, it wasn't particularly spec'd. But I very much doubt that the last Slanesh list was. So yeah, fair. Budtastic guy ducking off. Good night, you beautiful chunk of humanity. Cool Bunny saying that if KO come back to counter Slanesh, she's going to go back to Daughters of Cain because she hates shooty armies. I got to tell you, Daughters of Cain, just because you got your little rerollable 5-up save doesn't mean that you're immune to a fucking bullet in the face. Gnome's Bane saying that if you knew that was going to be your matchup prior to the tournament, you just drop and go to the bar. Which, to be fair, if someone's like, you're going to play Flesh Eater Courts twice, you're going to play Skaven, you're going to play you're going to play Slanesh twice and Stormcast, I'd be like, I am going to get my poo pushed in so many times. But at least everything's a new opportunity to succeed. So you know what?
Yep.
That just makes me more stoked. That's fucking awesome. Big mad love to it there, because that obviously took a lot of work. And yeah, Cool Bunny, being a Slanesh player, being like 2 heroes seems very fucking low, and I would agree. Okay, so super quickly, after talking about that, we've got a couple of other recent results, and then we've got some other shit to talk about, namely Kippers. But this one, these are 2 others that we've had from a couple of events. So first, we have the Auto Fanaticus Club Challenge, which took place from where I am, a few hours south across the border into old America. And interestingly, in their top 5, Sylvaneth featured twice, and Seraphon got in there as well. So they're their top 5, right? First was Sylvaneth, second was Stormcast, third was Seraphon, 4th was Gloomspite Kits, and 5th was Sylvaneth. No fucking Flesh Eater Courts, no Slanesh, no other Skaven-y shit. That's been a really interesting top 5, given that we haven't seen Slanesh top anywhere recently, even since their new book. Does that tickle you in any particular way?
Well, I'm kind of suspicious for people just from playing those armies at this rate.
right? Like Jesus. Oh, fuck. I went to make myself a new cocktail and I put the bitters in my glass and then forgot that I'd only put the bitters in my glass. I thought there was a little bit of cocktail left. So I just drank a couple of mils of straight bitters and that is fucking foul. In fact, oh my God. We've had a paint water, situation where, when you accidentally drink your paint water, that's what just happened.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, we had to, or like when someone gives you a pickleback, which thank you fucking Canadians for introducing me to picklebacks, and then you drink the pickle juice first, which just ruins the delicious Jameson afterwards. But then again, a pickleback ruins the Jameson by drinking the pickle juice after anyway. For those who aren't aware of what a pickleback is, you don't need to be. Just pretend it doesn't fucking exist and your life will be heaps better for it. Just continue drinking Jameson in the normal, traditional way and don't worry about any of the shit that the Canadians tell you because neither Nickelback nor the pickleback is ever a good idea. Unless you're in like the early 2000s and you've got like a kind of like semi into rock music, but not totally into rock music. No, I give them a lot of shit, but they are actually really rich musicians, so I probably shouldn't. Are you a big pickleback fan? How do you feel about pickle juice?
Can't say I am. It's not my cup of tea.
No, I don't think it should be anyone's cup of tea. And no matter how many Canadians try to tell me, they're like, oh no, it's really good. It's electrolytes. It helps you not get drunk. I'm like, fuck off. 30 mils of electrolytes, like a shot glass of electrolytes. You need to like drink a whole Powerade for it to do anything for you. Don't tell me that your magical little pickle juice it's not a superfood. Do you see anyone running out and making like acai berry smoothies full of pickle juice? Fuck no. It is not that. Do not lie to me. Lugnuts to Mad has come into the chat angry and aggressive as always, which is good. Back from the gym and having a protein shake and pickles. That is not things that should ever be combined. No, we should never, ever do that. Picklebacks. Yep, Gnome's been aware of they're not good. Oh God, Tomb King Tristan just did a shot of pickle juice in my honor. And it does not taste good. It does not taste good. Pickles are they're like weird. They're the plant version of poo. Like if a tree could take a shit, it would look like a pickle.
Now I love pickles, but I mean pickle juice can't be good.
It's just not good. Hyperhazard is saying that I should try durian mooncake. The fiance is Malay and she tricked me. I believe I have seen durian when I was traveling around the world, but I don't think I ever tasted it, and I don't think I ever need to now. So thank you for making me aware of that one, Hyperhazard. You know what? Put it in the chat. What should I taste or not taste? Because that's a thing. Dad Hammer agreeing that pickles are horrible. A couple of slices on a burger, lovely and nice, but in general, horrible. But yeah, the results that we've got there from the Auto Fanaticus Club Challenge, Sylvaneth twice, which I think is fucking great. They have not really been in the winner's circle for like 2-3 years now, so I'm excited to see them take first and fifth. I believe the player who took out first with Sylvaneth was Jeremy Vasev, who I can't pronounce his last name because I'm just real bad at names. You know what? From now on, you're just going to be Jeremy Vasev, playing the Sylvaneth. Now, Jeremy, I believe, won an event last week or 2 weeks ago, won T-Shift. And I would fully believe that because I played Jeremy at the Wet Coast GT when I first landed in Canada, and I can only describe it. Jeremy was using Nighthaunt, and I can only describe it as like, you know those videos that pop up on Facebook from time to time where there's like someone trying to do like a really sexy Instagram photo at the beach and then a wave just comes up and fucking shit mixes them? That was my experience in that game. It was just like, and then like I'd get up, right? Like I got fucking hit. I was like, oh fuck. And then I'd get up from that wave hit, barely get a breath in, and then another wave would fucking destroy me. I was just like, it was literally like a gorilla finger in the bum hole, just ruining me entirely. So yeah, credit where it's due. Jeremy is an incredibly talented player, and I'm kind of stoked as well that of the 3 times I've seen Jeremy taking spots in the winner's circle, whether it's first or in the top 3, it's been with 3 different armies. That's
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
right. Like 3 different allegiances. That's fucking cool. The Stormcast coming in there in second was Mr. Jack Ballard of Rerolling Ones, who has been working those Stormcast into a finely well honed killing machine. So that is a real good run there. Seraphon coming in third is fucking awesome as well. I think I've always said it. I like seeing Seraphon do well because I think their summoning is really fair. Would you agree with that?
I'd say so.
Yeah, right. Like
Um,
they've got to make a sacrifice.
yeah. Like it's give and take kind of summoning.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's not just you get it for playing the game of Warhammer, which is kind of what depravity points and blood tithe points and all of that shit are. So yeah, it's I'm keen to see him in there. Gloomspite Gits I'm always happy to see just because they're so fucking ridiculous. And then Sylvaneth again. So yeah, that was lovely. Now the other one that I quickly want to touch on as well is Wargames Con 11. It was either 9 or 11. I didn't know what it is, so I put it in as 11, and I'm hoping I'm right. Now, this one was kind of interesting as well. So first was Blades of Corn, which they're good, but they're not like crazy good at the moment, so I'm kind of keen seeing them in there. Second was Legion of Blood, who we haven't seen do well for a very long time. Third was Skaven Tide. Fourth, Legion of Blood again, and then fifth was Slanesh. So, like the top 5 there, yeah, right. Like that's a very blood heavy top 5. Like Blades of Corn in
Yeah,
one,
didn't even think
Legion of
about
Blood
that.
in second, and Legion of Blood in fourth. This is obviously not the tournament for hemophiliacs because they would not be okay with dealing with all of this. So yeah, like yourself, does that what do you reckon? What's going on there? Like fucking Slanesh in fifth when Blades of Corn and Legion of Blood in 1 and 2. That shouldn't happen. Logically, LLV, I'm sure our stats machine would be like, this is not the way the world works.
The only thing I can really think of, at least for the Legion of Blood, because I'm assuming if they're Legion of Blood, they're going to run Neferata, and I think she had a point reduction recently.
Yeah. Actually, she might have in the new one. She might have come down a little.
Yeah, I think she did, and I know lots of Legion of Blood lists did fairly well in the past. Ran that formation with what was it? Bloodseeker Palanquin and the two Vampire Lords.
The couple of the heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know those Vampire Lords can be on zombie dragons, and I mean, I face one, and it always pushes my shit in.
Yeah,
so
and one of them always
maybe
has the
they brought
ethereal
two.
amulet, and then yeah, true. But I completely agree. Cool Bunny in the chat being like, how are 2 Legion of Blood armies in the top 5? That gets me. Like one of them I could see, but both of them getting up there, that's either good play or amazing matchups. However, looking at it, Wargames Con had like 88 players. 88 fucking players.
Whoa.
Which means that there were no, like, there shouldn't have been any cakewalks. There shouldn't have been any easy shit. That's just solid good play. And I'm fucking stoked by it. This is what I actually like. I feel like, because we're going to talk about it in a second, and I was looking at the results from last year that you sent me through, that Kippers is kind of the same. Like, you don't see the same shit, which is kind of cool. Now, Lugnuts to Mad bringing us the stats based off Gnomesbane's very probably well-researched information saying that pickle juice has enough sodium to kill a human, which I would agree with, because that's what it tastes like it should be fucking doing. But Lugnuts to Mad pointing out that high blood pressure, you can retain water from eating large amounts of salt. So you can have indigestion, which is like gas, stomach pains, and diarrhea, cramping. So what I'm getting is that pickle juice makes shit worse. And the next time someone's like, do a pickleback, it's really good for your fucking hangover, I'm going to tell you that it's going to give me diarrhea and cramping. So I'm not only going to be shitting out my guts, the guts that I have left inside of me will be trying to like fucking have an arm wrestle. Lugnuts to Mad, pickle juice equals bad. Orcboy Phil saying that you're clearly an idiot. You just bought an Ironclad and the Stormcast KO boxes. No, fuck off. You're not an idiot. You're on trend. We're seeing Stormcast and KO do well. You're about to be on the hypey end of things. But yes, unfortunately, Lugnuts to Mad, no orcs coming in there, which is sad. Hyper Hazard pointing out what I always have believed, an exceptional pilot can take a decent army and hit top all day, where a less than competent player with a tier 1 list can still get bodied. And I think that is, for me, a really big part of the game. And I would always bring it back to a friend of the show, Dan Brewer, an Englishman transplanted to Australia who played... he played Skaven, what are the ones that are sneaky and stabby? I can't remember. Do you remember what they're called?
Clan Eshin?
That's the one, Eshin, yes. Played Clan Eshin. And basically, he took Clan Eshin and won tournaments with, or podiumed with Clan Eshin. And if you played against him, he just about got tabled every single game. I don't think he had much more than a couple of 100 points left on the board, if he had any, at any point in time. However, he is such a fantastically tactical player that he consistently did well because of it. And I would say that the best thing for the rest of the hobby scene in Australia is that Dan Brewer never got tickled by Sylvaneth or Flesh Eater Courts or any of them when they were in their heyday, because he would have fucking torn bumhole open everywhere. He does play Skaven, but thankfully he's kind of stepped away from competitive play to like support tournament organizers recently, which I think is really cool. But yeah, it's good. Hyperhazard, saying it's kind of an 80-15, 5% split, and that's it. And I think that you see there's a little bit to the matchups, but at the end of the day, being smart with your play is what wins you games. Lugnuts to Mad keen for the new book, the new Destruction book, which I think is going to be interesting. Okay, so wait, Anton, sorry, I just called you Anton. I don't know why. Actually, I know why. Because I've been watching.
I was like, is this someone in the chat?
No. I've been watching a lot of Queer Eye, and there's someone called Anton on that. So I think I just took Austin and went Anton. Austin, if you had to choose which book to come first, just because I want to see which people in the chat this pisses off, would you choose the Orc book to come first or the Cities book to come first?
Oh man, I gotta go with the bias again.
I love bias.
I gotta go with that Free Cities.
Yeah, baby. It's killing me, man. Every fucking week, they announced it before they announced the Stormcast book, and I was like, shit, yeah, here we go. And then they're like, Space Marines. Sorry, not the Stormcast, the Space Marines book. And then they're like, Space Marines. I'm like, okay, Space Marines, cool. And they're like, more Space Marines. I'm like, give me the fucking book. Lugnuts to Mad, obviously not stoked with that. Greenwart wants Orcs but says that you'll say City. Dad Hammer says he's a big fan of yours now. Lugnuts wants me to kick you off the show and thinks you're the worst guest. Cool Bunny reckons Tomb Kings, which is just, good, fair. Tomb Kings have been a little high and dry. Mightiest Kitty thinks that Iron Jaws are the future, though. So look, you've made some friends. You've also made some enemies. Greenwire obviously agreeing with Lugnuts there. There's a lot of caps coming your way. Most of the caps are coming from angry people, which seems to be the way the internet works, though. So that's fine.
Vocal minority.
Yeah, that's it. Vocal minority. Lugnuts will be looking for me at Attack X now for that, and I'm fine with that. I think that's two tournament things where I would say that outside of, just to flick back across super quickly, Capital City Bloodbath was pretty standard in its top spots outside of KO winning the whole damn thing. But I'm also super stoked with those other two events that we've got results for here that we really barely see Slanesh in them. There's no Flesh Eater Courts. It's all different allegiances, and that's where the game gets good. Now, astute viewers may have noticed that there's a couple of extra scores posted up there from WarGamesCon. We don't need to go into them, but just super quickly, in case anyone was interested, Dispossessed came like 54th and 70-something. But that's not important. That's an unimportant thing. It's clearly an aberration in the stats that happened because maybe those players were kidnapped and didn't get to finish their games. That's probably what happened there. They were brutally assaulted in the parking lot, which is why it didn't work out. Moving right along, because we're here. We've done all this chat about other shit, but now we're going to talk about the thing that we're here to chat about, which is Kippers Mele 2019, your event. How's it going? Are you keen? Are you excited for it?
I am very excited.
I-
It's my second go of running a tournament that size.
Yep.
32 players, by the way.
Yep. 32
And
so far. So far.
so
Right?
far,
So far, yeah.
um,
I've still got to get my ticket, so there's at least 33. But yeah. But yeah, so you're keen, you're excited. What are you looking at?
I'm very excited. Just the idea of running a tournament to my way is always something that appeals to me.
And that's I think that's where what I get excited for, right? Like there are a lot of tournament organizers out there who, when they put a tournament together, they're building a tournament for like it's like they're building the tournament for other people, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Where
Yep, absolutely.
what I want and what I think talking to Rob as well, he's the same. What we would rather is tournament organizers went, this is what I'd fucking love. This is what I'm going to make. And then if people want to play in it, that's awesome. I know that we've got a number of tournaments like that in Australia, and we'll talk about what makes your tournament like that. But like overall, what are you setting out to do with the event?
Number one thing, everyone has fun.
Yep, good. Always a good way to start it, right? Big tick. Everyone has a good time. We're here to play war dollies, not chess. So let's actually smile while we're fucking doing it, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Now, my biggest question, which is a very important one, so I really hope the answer is the right answer. Yep.
Is
There a bar?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Fuck. Okay, good. All right, we can do this. All right, wrap it up. Let's do it. So good. There's a bar. Good. Access to alcohol, always very important for myself. Only because I don't want to have to face a day sober. I went 2 days last week without drinking, not for want of trying. Yeah, I know, right? But not for want of trying, just because by the time I was like, shit, I need a drink, the places were closed. So, yeah. Vanilla just asked in the chat saying that there's apparently a drinking trophy. Is this true?
There is. I will say these trophies usually go to the 30K players.
Oh, right. Okay. So the 30K players are the one. Well, look, I guess they've spent that much money on Forge World models. They can afford it, right? Like they're buying.
It's more so they kind of just throw their money around and buy more liquor than anyone else could, and you can't beat them.
Yeah, fair. I mean, look, if you can play an army that's entirely Forge World, the only people that could compete were people who played probably Legion of Fake Dwarves, and we don't need to fucking talk about them. Gnomes Bane's excited by the concept of a drinking trophy, which I think is also great. Cool Bunny keen for it as well. V there saying that last year was awesome fun. Apparently... Mightiest Kitty's saying that people should bring you milk donations. Do you want to run me by what that means?
Oh, I'm very... okay. I'm pretty sure this Mightiest Kitty fellow is a good friend of mine who's listening in. And he is well aware of my adventures in the dairy department at my work. And to put it bluntly,
Adventures in dairy sounds like a really bad time. I just want to put that out there, right? Like I don't know. I'm not lactose intolerant, but even that for me seems like adventures in dairy doesn't seem like a place you want to be. But yeah, okay. So please elaborate.
Well, all in all, I bitch about milk a lot. Like a lot. And I love the stuff. I love drinking it. But once you got to move like a stack of 6, 7, sometimes 8 crates, it's back breaking.
Yep.
And I'll just be like, oh, fucking milk. I hate it. I'm never going to drink it again.
Yeah. And then you're like, fuck, I need calcium. Yep. So yeah, fair.
Always need that calcium.
So right, everyone should bring you 4 liters of milk a day. Lugnuts and Mad drinks 4 liters of milk a day. That will be the requirement. Everyone bring Austin at least 4 liters of milk as a small sacrifice. We'll create a little fountain. We'll create a small fountain for you to, I don't know, make some kind of weird milk shake fondue shit. Apparently some people last year didn't show up for day 2 because they'd gone too hard trying to win it. It's Cool Bunny's saying Adventures in Dairy sounds like an R-rated YouTube video that you regret clicking on, which it is. That is a very fair and very astute way to put it, and I 100% agree. Though Vanilla just is saying you wouldn't regret clicking on it. So you know what? Everyone's got their own thing. That's totally fine. But yeah, so there's a bar. It does or doesn't serve milk. I don't know. We'll find out on the day. I'm so sorry if everybody brings you milk now or keeps ordering you rounds of milk or something.
At least I won't be surprised.
No. And your protein and your calcium count will be really high. You'll probably have some kind of weird diarrhea thing going on. I don't know what too much milk does to a human body, but we'll find out. Okay. Other than that, though, you setting out to make a tournament that's fun for everyone. What are some of the other things that you include? Because I've seen the players pack, and we'll have a chat about it. But yeah, what's some of the stuff that you put in?
Well, some of the stuff I've put in is because even though it's meant to be fun, debates arise.
Yep.
Tensions can get high. It's like, this is how this rule works. No, this is how this rule works, and people go back and forth.
Yep.
And last year that happened a couple of times, and you go and go, nope, this is the rule, this is how it works.
Yep.
And people fight you. It happens.
Yep. They disagree. Yep.
So
we're passionate people.
Absolutely. So one thing I made clear this go was even though this is fun, this is exciting, we're here to have a good time. Tensions could get high. I might have to get involved just to settle some disputes.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, my word is.
And I think every tournament that's the thing that you have to take away. And I actually remember playing in an event where I was very confident that something was in the FAQs, and we couldn't find it. And I was like, I know it's in here fucking somewhere. The TO came over. We spoke about it. Myself and the other player, and it was all very civil. And the TO was ruled against me in the other way, and I was like, you know what? Fuck. I know that this isn't necessarily it. However, that's cool. That the ruling's been made on the ground. I'm not going to whinge and bitch and moan about it. I'm just going to move on. And I think that is kind of important to remember. In a game of sport, if the refs make a bad call, we whinge about the refs for a little bit and then move on. But at the same time, the refs are trying to make the fairest call on the ground. Now, I would say most of the time they get it right. Sometimes they don't. Refs are pieces of shit, which is basically where I'm saying. Anyone who is a Rabbitohs fan from back home in Australia, the only reason the Rabbitohs have lost any games is because of shithouse refs and also our team being subpar. But that's mostly shithouse reffing. But yeah, I think that's really cool. And looking at your results from last year, it seems like there's also kind of some cool, different results coming in. Right? It looks like you're getting those things come through as well, because last year, so the results we're looking at are from last year's Kippers Mele. Iron Jaws took out first place. Beasts of Chaos took out second. Nighthaunt third. Overlords fourth. Fuck, Overlords. Who'd thought we'd been talking about them twice in a day? And Blades of Corn coming in fifth. That's fucking awesome. That's real different. And so I guess, what did you do that kind of freshened up your results? Because about the time that you got these results, the rest of the world was getting fucked up by Stormcast and Legions of Nagash pretty much exclusively, and Deepkin. So did you do anything different there? Did you plan around what happened? How did you have these results?
I don't think it was anything of my doing. I remember a lot of the list, and it was very, believe it or not, Beastclaw Raiders heavy.
Yeah.
It was very Sylvaneth heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I only had one Legion of Nagash player and one Stormcast player.
Right. Yeah. Vanilla just asked saying that you're a really fair mediator, which I think is awesome.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. He's probably sucking up to you, trying to get he'll come and be like, hey, can I have an extra command point at the start of games? Only a single Legions of Nagash player. Just heard you open your next drink. Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you. This one's called Honey Badger, by the way.
Honey Badger. We actually have a player called the Honey Badger in Australia. A rugby, or he's a Kiwi, I believe, but a rugby union player who's very famous. So there you go. You're drinking a famous Australian. I think that's really awesome. I dig it. Gnomesbane saying, where is Kippers? It's on It's on an island. It's it's an island
Yes.
that purely exists for competitive Warhammer. That's it. They actually they only cleared enough land for a tournament hall, and the rest is wild. Actually, no. You know what fucking happened on your island last week? Did you hear? This is the most important news that has ever happened in Canada. Your police had to taser an Australian emu.
Oh, right. I heard about that.
So sorry, not Age of Sigmar related, but very important news. There is an Australian emu farm on fucking the island, right? An emu got out and was disrupting traffic because emus are pretty big fuckheads. I have an emu story when one damaged my fucking car because it was just a fuck. So it got out and was blocking the highway. So the police officers tased it. And apparently the tasers brought it down, but then it was totally fine afterwards. Didn't piss itself, which is probably what most humans would do. That's not bad. It's a solid effort. But my emu experience was I was once driving through the middle of Australia and I saw this what looked like a shrub running at me. And I was like, so I slowed down and I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's a fucking emu. So I slowed down to a speed where it was keeping pace with me. And then just ran up next to the car and pecked off the side view mirror. Hit it so hard. It was bang, 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 bang. And then just peeled away and ran off into the sunset. I had to call my work because it was a work car and be like, hey, something weird happened. An emu pecked off the side mirror. And they were like, okay. And so the insurance form claims got sent out and they came back and they were like, so did you hit the emu? And I'm like, no, the emu hit me 3 times. It didn't, and it's not like it hit the car because most of the time damage by animals in Australia is because you've hit them, they've jumped in front of the car. But I had to be like, no, my car lost a fight with the emu. Because it just decided to fuck me up like a drunk bro on a night out who's like, this guy's looking at me weird. Bang. I'm glad that everyone was okay. And I hope when I go there, I just want to go to the emu farm. And hopefully get pecked in the face by the emu that disrupted all of your traffic.
Where I live right now, there's a peacock on the loose.
There's a peacock on the loose. Fuck, lock your doors and windows.
It's harmless. It's not attacking anyone, but it just randomly jumps on people. It randomly jumps on people's fences, go in their yards, and they call whoever it is they have to call. But the peacock always gets away. And I don't know the details. I don't know if it's it gets away when they get there and it just outsmarts them, or it's long gone before they get there. But it's been I think almost 3 weeks now.
It's the fucking Robin Hood of peacocks, and they can't tase it because it's too beautiful. They're like, damn it, we can't. So for those who are interested, it's on the island. It's a good time. Something that why I'm really excited for it. So I've got Attack X coming up next month, and then after that, Kippers. When I went to Wet Coast GT, I landed, and a week later I was playing at the Wet Coast GT. Everyone was saying to me are you going to Kippers? Are you going to Kippers? So it's clearly a big one in kind of the kenosphere of everyone over here. It's right there. So you got to be doing something right, is what I'm saying. So snaps for you because clearly everyone's really excited about it.
I love hearing that. I love it.
Yeah, I'm keen myself, and a big part of that. Now, last week, for those who were here with us last week, we talked about battle plans and things like that. And one of the things that I was talking about is the fact that I find it really frustrating when you see a tournament that pushes the heavy competitive balance side of things and then has a random scoring objective mission in the late end of the tournament pack. And I was saying that what I want is a random tournament. I want a tournament that just uses all of the fucking random tournament mission battle plans. Or if you want to be super competitive, don't use any of them. And then I saw yours and you sent it through to me and my little fucking heart sung because what we're looking at with the Kippers battle plans are all 3 of the big 3 random ones are in there. So you've got shifting objectives, which is the most level, I guess, of the random ones. Then you've got Star Strike and Relocation Orb, just fucking... The only one you're missing is Gift from the Heavens. But that's pretty much just
I figure I shouldn't go too overboard. I should have two
but see, at the same time,
balance, quote unquote.
Yeah, you got to... Like, what you've done is you've just gone, like, we're using the random ones. So it's not like you can get fucked by one bad random matchup. You know, like one bad drop of this, one bad thing of the relocation orb. Because there's 3 sets of random in there. So what it says is to win this tournament, you've got to be flexible. You've got to be able to play across all of them. And yeah, you know what? You might lose because of something random. So fucking take your foot off the gas and don't put so much pressure on yourself. I love it. In the same way that the pack for Attack X came out this week. And I'll probably do a show about that a little bit later on when we're a bit closer to it. But the thing I really like about it is it's a really balanced pack, right? It's a very competitive, very balanced pack. There are no terrain effects in use whatsoever. There's no realm rules whatsoever. The only random battle plan is shifting objectives. It's spec'd towards like balanced as you can, playtesters, as balanced as you can competitive play. Whereas the other side is where you include lots of different stuff. So you're also using the realms, I believe, which I think is really cool, especially when you're having like the random battle plans as well. Then you're adding in a new element of the realms. So how are you going to be incorporating the realms into the tournament?
Well, the realms were a tricky one. I actually debated it for a while. I thought about not having.
Yeah.
I decided to include them, but just pick the feature ahead of time.
Yeah.
There was a couple realms I knew were just off the table entirely. Like as cool as Realm of Beasts is, that's just how people that also keep track of a big monster.
Yeah, I saw
a lot of things that could go wrong.
Yeah, Midwest Meltdown did it, but they also, I think like 2 or 3 of their missions were in the Realms of Beasts, and they had a whole like thing for the monster. They created a war scroll, everyone converted their own monster. It was really cool, but the whole tournament was built around it, which I think is almost the only way you can use beasts, right? Like you kind of have to avoid it other than that.
Yeah. The other realm that was off the table is Olgu, the Realm of Shadow.
Yep.
I just, I was playing my Stormcast, and I went of a Castigator and Ballista Heavy list.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually my first game of 2nd edition, and we did what the.
Oh no! I feel like I know what's about to happen.
We rolled.
Yep.
And we decided, hey, let's not roll off and then choose. Let's just roll. See which realm but we'll take out Realm of Beast because we don't have a big beast handy.
Yeah. Okay, fair. So you rolled up Shadow,
1 to 6.
right?
Rolled up Shadow.
Yep.
We had no idea what it did. We rolled Realm feature, and it says shooting is 6 inches.
And you're like, fuck me, right? Like I'm done. It's a bit like
and I think I was facing Nurgle.
Oh
which was,
no.
Which was like, okay, this is going to be an uphill battle for my shooting Stormcast, and then it was just,
it's actually not even an uphill battle. It's just you don't get to play. And I think I actually like, I don't mind it, but it's the same way I think it's a Realm of Fire with flaming projectiles or whatever, where shooting from a certain distance goes up by 1 rend. I'm like these things really, really overpower certain armies. So yeah, I'm kind of glad not to see them. So yeah, that's kind of, I dig it. That's good. But Tomb King Tristan wants beasts, but also does agree, yeah, screw Ulgu. Gnome's Bane is saying that Kippers has a drinking trophy and random objectives, and is quickly going to rush out and get a passport, which I think is, that's good. That's good, right? Like that's the one to be at, clearly. But yeah, I dig it. I actually really like that. So you're including the realms. So you're going to be, I take it then you're going to be choosing the realm effect for each mission?
Yep. I believe they're actually all in the package already.
Yep. I kind of had already seen that, and I was like, that's really, really cool. I really fucking like that because it means...
Yeah, I just sat down and read them all and went, this one seems the least backbreaking. Like, enough to have an impact on the game, but not enough to make, say, the Carriage on Overlord's player overpowered in this game or something like that.
Yeah, everyone's still got a chance. It's just nice and in that balance place, which I think is fucking awesome. And yeah, looking at everything that's going on in there too, I was like, there's cool because you've got that one spell from the core book and the one command ability, but you're not using all the malign sorcery stuff, which I think is really fucking cool. But But yeah, I'm keen. I reckon it's going to be awesome. And I like, that's the thing though. I like that people are really, now we're starting to see tournament organizers really lean into the event to make it that one thing, which I think is where the strength is at, right? Like instead of going, oh yeah, we got a tournament and it's this and it's that, and oh yeah, also we're using the realms, but also it's really competitive, but also we're doing this, but also fucking Star Strike, and you're like, okay, you know, like I feel like there's you're trying to shove too much stuff in here. I just want a steak, and you're trying to put all this other shit on it. Where it's like this tournament for me really gives you all of those other things, and you've got other tournaments that are basically like, no, we're just going the competitive wall dolly side, and that's where players then get to go to the things that they want to play, which is exactly what we should do. I want to go to one tournament where I'm just like zeroed in and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do the competitive thing. And then another tournament where I'm like, cool, I want to win, but there's heaps more fun to be had in the random side, and because I know that that's what I'm getting myself into, or fuck me up, Relocation Orb, you greased up goblin piece of shit. Run away, flee, and leave me in the dirt. But yeah, so other than that, what else? What else is going on? Talk to me about Kippers. What else should I be excited for? Or if someone is kind of on the fence about whether to come or not, tell me, why should they come?
Well, if drinking didn't sell it to you, I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, most people who come are casual players.
Yep.
So if you are a casual player and tournaments never appeal to you, this one very well may do the trick for you. Because even though there are prizes,
yep.
I'm not 100% certain yet what they're going to be this year. But last year, you can probably appreciate this. If you scored first, second, or third, you got a flask.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome. That's wicked. Yeah, right? That's practical. I was devastated at a tournament back in Australia before I left that I won a trophy, and when I poured a beer into it to try and drink out of it, it wasn't watertight, and I spilled beer all down my pants. I was ruined. I couldn't believe it. My trophy was ruined, my beer was ruined, my pants, they smelled like they always smell, but that's okay. So yeah, that's great. I'm about that. I want to get first, second, or third just to get a fucking flask. That's all I want.
Yeah, exactly. So like, there's no prize money. There's no like you win a start collecting box of your choice or anything.
Yeah.
Like, sure, those things are cool, but I feel that really brings out competitive nature in people, and that's not what Kippers is about.
Yeah.
It is about showing up and having fun. So maybe you go 0-5, which, you know, isn't the greatest feeling. But if you had like a 6-pack and you had fun the entire time, who cares if you lost every game?
Exactly, and I think that's where I kind of like that's there. It's very much that casual. It's competitive casual. You know, it's like casual fine dining. You don't need to wear a suit to go there, but you know that you're going to have a fun time. You're going to get some pretty good shit. I like it. I think that that tickles me. That tickles me in a happy place. But like, I guess outside of the competitive side of things, right? So we when we take that out, you kind of build a tournament in this around stopping people being hyper competitive. Now you could build an army. Let's say you want to like go all deep dive and build that perfect competitive army. At the end of the day, shifting objectives, Star Strike, and Relocation Orb could just fuck you up on random stuff. So if you're coming without the realization that, you know what, clearly I'm not going to be in control of everything. If you're coming in with that attitude that you're going to like perfect mind everything, well, you might get fucked up. Relocation Orb could just completely avoid your army for the entire game. Or Star Strike could be like, nah. So I'm kind of keen because it means that it brings everyone on the level playing field. And it means that people who are in that hyper competitive aspect, they can be, but don't blame anyone if you lose because you knew you were going into a weird spot. So yeah, I dig it. It's what I love in the same way that I can't wait. Eventually, I hope to see a tournament that's just all the hero missions. You know, like all of the ones where heroes score.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, right? Like
I like that one.
Just because then yes, suddenly my dispossessed army, I couldn't take it to that. But I'd be like, oh, maybe I start a new army for that tournament. Or in the same way that like narrative tournaments tickle me at the moment. I'm like, I kind of want to go to a big narrative event because then I get to do lots of different stuff. And I know Dad Hammer puts together some wicked narrative-based stuff. So yeah, that's real cool. Now, talk to me about drinking on the island, because we mentioned this, and clearly this show has a very firm grounding in alcoholism. Talk to me about drinking. So apparently, I saw in the chat earlier, Vanilla DeSass was saying that someone who won a trophy or did well or whatnot had a gigantic wizard staff of beer cans at some point, which seems appropriate. But also asking, are spectators still welcome?
I'm actually not too sure about the spectators. I would have to check with the lady Jen who's running the whole event. Honestly, in my opinion, I think it's a great idea. Just so people can kind of pop in and go, oh, this is what this is about. Oh, maybe I'll come next year.
Yeah, and I really dig it because I love actually, like, when I'm not playing in a tournament, being able to walk around and see the tables and watch stuff go on. It is actually a really, really cool spectator sport, which I think is it's fun. It makes things really interesting and it gives you something kind of different to look at. So yeah, I dig it. But again, we obviously need to know that that's cool with like the venue and the location, because you don't want some like fire warden coming in and being like, this place is a fire hazard, get rid of half of your gamers. That would be terrible. Suggestion in the chat that there should be a flask for the person with the lowest score who finished all of their games. Maybe just make them do picklebacks. Just a tournament pickleback for whoever. It's like a wooden spoon that keeps on spooning you, even though you're like, no, please stop it, please. It's really hot. It's like summer in Australia. It's 40 degrees. I don't want to be spooned. And it's like, hey, I'm a big pickle and I'm going to spoon you. But apparently there's a national narrative campaign in Australia. Wow, that's huge. Gnome's Bane saying no, hopefully to the pickle spoon, because nobody wants the pickle spoon. But yeah, so when you were putting all of these battle plans together, I guess, did you like actively decide on the random ones? And also, the thing that I like there, right? There are Star Strike and Relocation Orb. 9 times out of 10, you don't see a random one in the last 2, in rounds 4 or 5. Which is fair, because in a competitive tournament, if you've won 4 games or if you've won 3 games and you're starting to look like you might win at a podium, you don't want to have someone lose because of a random event. This is when I'm saying in a very competitive tournament, where here, I guess it very clearly points out the fun aspect of things, because it's like, you know what? You might win 4 games and lose game 5 because of a random bounce of the orb. So understand that's what you're coming up against, so that people, like, they can't get it into their head anything but. Was that a deliberate plan?
Yeah, it definitely was. One of the biggest things I mentioned earlier was I want to make this a tournament I would want to play in.
Yep.
So I love the random games.
Yep.
I think they're hilarious. I think if someone has a Flesh Eater Quartz army, a top tier competitive list, and they see it's nothing but random objectives, they might go, you know what? I might pull out my Slaves of Darkness army for this.
Yes, right? Like, I think that's and for me, it's the same reason. Back home in Australia, I did up an Ogre's army, a Gutbusters army just before I left. I only played a couple of tournaments with it. But I know my Dispossessed cannot fucking play if all of the missions were hero missions. I'd be like, oh, and even this one, knowing that they're so random, I'm almost like, maybe I should get my Ogres over, because my Dispossessed are fucking slow. They're never going to be able to compete. But the sound of things, there's lots of Beast Claw Raiders, so I don't think my Gutbusters could compete with them. I don't have snowballs. I don't have big fucking hairy moo cows to ride. I have no dairy. No dairy to make it happen. But apparently a new Tyrant coming out, which is cool. Gnome's Bane threatening to cancel the plane ticket. I don't know what for or why, but I'm so sorry. Though apparently if you're trying to fly to Hong Kong right now, it's not going to work. So don't go to Hong Kong, because things are crazy. It's just a little bit of fun fact news for everybody. Cool Bunny saying that the randomness gives you a chance at winning. Nah, that's a lie. You're a bit of a cunning player. I wouldn't put it past you. Gnome's Bane saying that your sister is getting married on Kippers weekend. Well, your sister could get married multiple times, but a tournament is only once a year. So really, I don't know. And also, I really hope that your sister's marriage is wonderful. Tell her that I said I hope it's lovely. I'm so sorry that I said bad things about marriage, because it's good and everyone should try it, probably. I haven't, but only because I haven't found a human being who is insane enough to accept like this long term. Like they really, really shouldn't. There's barely enough. Like I get sick of the shit that comes out of my mouth, so I don't know how anyone else would. But yeah, Gnomes Bane, I think just like, yeah, no marriage. Unfortunately, you're not going to be there, but you are going to be at Kippers, which is just really good news, right? Like we could probably swing Gnomes Bane a drink, right, to say thanks for bailing on the wedding.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, great. Okay, we'll do that then.
Hands down.
Yeah, so Gnomes Bane, we'll see you there, and I will dress up as a bride for you so that it feels like you're at the wedding. Austin, would you dress up as a groom?
Only for you.
Great. Okay, so I'll dress up as a bride. You dress up as a groom. Gnomes Bane will be there. And that way, right, okay, here's where I'm going. Gnomes Bane, you take photos of you with us, and then on social media, you pretend that you were at your sister's wedding, and everyone wins. Seems like a good idea. Vanilla just asked saying, just have them over on Saturday and do like a stag hen thing. Yeah, we could do lots of different things, and we're in the right spot. Good. Clearly in the right attitude for Kippers Mele. Now, is there, so what else should anyone who's thinking about going, who's maybe on the fence, is there anything else they should know about the event to be ready for it? Anything that they need to plan or think ahead? Like obviously there's random shit there, but anything they need to know?
Yeah, a couple things.
Yeah, shoot.
One.
Sorry, you might hear the sound of a beer filling because I've moved on from cocktails to beer.
I'm about to grab my third can in a second here.
Yeah, buddy, welcome to the team. So go. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no worries. One is, so it's being held in the Vancouver Island Conference Center. Mm-hmm. It's in a city called Nanaimo. Mm-hmm. We are right by a pier when we're there.
Yep.
And in the pier, there's a little marketplace. It's really nice. Mm. So if you want to come and play, great. But after you're done playing, because I believe, I can't remember what time I had the last game done the first day. I think it was on 5-ish.
Yeah.
There's plenty of restaurants, plenty of hotels, lots of places to go to kill time.
Oh, awesome!
So you won't be bored, no matter what.
So it's a weekend of it. It's not just like, I guess there are some tournaments that you go to play in the tournament. You know, like it's you go and the tournament's the focus. So. And I've been there, and between days, most people, like, they might have a couple of drinks, but then it's like, okay, it's time for bed. We're here to play. We're in game mode. This is not that, right? Like, this is it's more of a game for. It's a tournament for people who want to make the weekend. They want the fun. They want everything going on, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who came and visited, if I weren't locals, they made right, like they went out for dinner, they saw the sights, all the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what they want. That's what they're there for. So I personally, that's what for me, tournament play and what I'm really excited about over here is seeing all the new different fucking places that I can go. So this year I'm only traveling like little bits. I just heard you open that third one. There we are in the happy space. Cheers to you. There's my big old fucking mug that I got from Nottingham. Beautiful. Oh yes, beers. But yeah, I think that it's really cool when you get to go and experience a lot of different stuff. That's why I'm really keen to get to one down across the border, just south of me here. That's why I want to get out to the island, because how do I get to the island from me? Just for my own knowledge. Like, do I drive? Do I swim? Do I ride on the back of a friendly orca like I assume Free Willy taught me people can do?
All good options, but I know there are ferries available.
Or boats. Okay.
Not magical, but boats.
Yeah, right. Yep. And planes? Can I fly in?
Believe it or not, you can.
Oh, really? Shit, yeah. I can fly onto an island.
There's float planes. I'm not sure where they are in Vancouver
Sorry.
or in mainland or wherever.
Float planes? Run me by what a float plane fucking is?
Oh, the ones that like they're parked in bays and stuff. They have little flotation
Oh
things in
no,
the
no,
bottom.
no, 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 no. I'm a nervous flyer at the best of times. The last thing I need is a fucking plane that moonlights as a boat. Fuck right off. You are neither plane nor boat. You are a charlatan at best, and I shall not be upon you. I have only been in a small plane twice in my life. The first time was as a child that gave me the fear of small planes, and the second time was because some people thought it would be fucking funny to send me skydiving and pay for the
Ooh.
DVD. And that footage I have systematically made sure does not exist anywhere online because you will see the face of a broken man. So if anyone ever wants a good time, just find me in a plane. If you want a better time, find me skydiving. Because to be honest, I'm fine once I'm out of the plane and the parachute's up. The plane is what scares me. So you can fuck right off a plane that doesn't even know whether it's a plane or a boat. But yeah, okay. So people saying like it's an orca, so it's the best whale. Good, good. Yeah, there's a lot of suggestions coming in the chat that I don't particularly want to explore. Dadhammer's saying you'd never go near an orca with killer in its name. It's like seems like a no-go zone. I actually grew up I was born in a small country town in Australia on the coast where people and killer whales like orcas used to hunt other whales together as a team. So like the killer whales would drag the boats out and then they'd share in the spoils. So there you go, which is kind of ridiculous. Yep, Reflex Dog Training just quickly stopping by to say that Rob needs to stay hydrated after the fact. Like, yes, let's all send, thank you. I saw Tomb King Tristan, the change.org petition in the chat to stop Rob dying every few months. That would be lovely. Because he actually covered Capital City Bloodbath and then went to hospital immediately afterwards.
What?
Yeah, right. He had to get himself some electroshock therapy for his brain. I assume probably something else. But yeah, but he's getting there. So yes, change.org. Rob, if you'd just stop carking it every little while, we'd be stoked. Lugnuts to Mad saying keep your feet on the ground. I agree. Orc Boy Phil saying love flying, miss flying a bulldog. I assume that a bulldog is a plane and that you didn't fly a small furry animal. And I can't imagine neither of those being particularly fun to be behind the driver's seat of. Cool Bunny 3 is saying that the float plane is great. Just when it's raining and the windows fog up inside, it gets tense. No. Not okay. I don't know if I'm going to make it to this fucking tournament because apparently I'm going to have to paddle over in a dinghy. Yeah, right. Terra. So, yeah, right. I need to put my army in the bag, start now, because I'm probably going to get blown back by the wind a couple of times. Maybe there's one of those big shipping ships I can jump on and be like, hey, drop me off the island. So I guess there's a lot of cool shit going on. So effectively, it's not just a tournament. It's kind of like, it's a weekend. There's island shit to explore. There's lots of good fun. There's drinking. So yeah, what else? Like what is there anything I should know? Anything I should bring as someone who's never been there before and is just planning on rocking up for day one of this tournament with no understanding of what to do?
Nothing too over the top. I mean, I believe in the tournament package, I recommend some sort of carrying tray for ease of movement from table to table.
Which I tell myself I need to bring every fucking tournament, and then I forget. And yeah, at the last one, I dropped like half my army because I had them on a book, on a battle tome.
Oh no!
And then yeah, right, like on a paperback book. And then as I was crossing between tables, no one bumped me. Nothing happened. The book, you know how they just bend and then like pop sometimes? Yep. Just did that and fucking threw half my army on the floor. And I was like, I knew this would happen.
No.
This is what I get for not stealing a carry tray from McDonald's. But that's just like, that's like idiot-proof advice for any tournament, right? Have a way to transport your army. Don't do what I did because then you have to glue a ton of models back to their bases, which I still haven't done. So yeah, my last tournament was a little while ago. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, Tomb King Tristan ducking off to bed. Good night. And yes, everybody please sign that change.org petition for Rob to stop carking it because he has all the tech. Without him, I have nothing. So please tell him that he needs to get his shit together. But yeah, so carry tray, what else? Actually, you know what? What would be your advice for someone who has like never been to a tournament before? If someone was just going for like the first time and you had like one or two things that you were like, I wish I'd known these. Because these are always my favorite things. So like for me, the two things that I'd wish I'd known would be between games to go and see other shit. Like just to look around all the other game systems being played and do all of that. And like, I mean, carry tray is a great one as well. Do you have a couple? Do you have one, two that you would like always recommend?
Well, one, it sounds negative.
Yeah.
But I'll say when you come in, don't expect to win.
Yep.
As awful as that sounds, but the reality is if you come in with a top tier list and you expect to steamroll through everyone, due to the nature of the battle plans,
yep.
You might be thoroughly disappointed.
Yes. Yes,
you know,
indeed.
Dice may not be in your favor, but if you come in with that mentality, you're not going to have fun.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's like, for me, I compare it to two things, right? First of all, I think if you go to a tournament and all you're thinking about doing is winning, right? You have set yourself only one scenario where you have a good time. So you're going to all of this trouble. And I mean, this trouble starts at building and painting your fucking army. And then go down the line however long it takes for you. Then you're going to the tournament. You're probably getting accommodation. You're paying to go to the tournament. You're rocking up. You're playing fucking 5 games of War Dollies. You're doing all this work, but any one thing goes wrong, and you only have one outcome that leads to you having a good weekend. Whereas if you rock up to meet some rad people and play 5 games, I've done that like 3 or 4 times, no shame. If you rock up and all you want to do is play some War Dollies, meet some cool people, and like because you're playing a game, try to win, you're gonna have a great way. You're actually gonna really enjoy your time. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Rock up with the attitude of having a good time. It's like if you go out to a bunch of nightclubs and you're like, I'm gonna meet a cute guy or girl, whatever, whoever it is. You can whatever you like. And then all you're doing all night is saying to yourself, if I'm alone at the end of the night, I lost. And you're possibly not going to have a good time unless you're Ben Sava, in which case you're gorgeous and whatever you want to do just happens for you because he's so hot right now. But you kind of need to like set yourself, if you go out with a bunch of mates and you're like, we're going to have fun, we're going to drink and probably dance like the Spice Girls in the 90s, then you're setting yourself up for a win condition that is very easy to enjoy. And you should see me get down to stop right now. I know all of the moves. Thank you, Spice Girls. So the first thing you'd say, I don't think that sounds negative. I really like it. Come with an expectation of having fun, not of winning, right?
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Second thing I would suggest is if you're worried about losing track of anything or anything, bring a pen and paper or notepad, whatever.
Yep.
Because if your placing depends on kill points, as opposed to how many games you want to lost, if it comes down, if you're going to get a top 3 based on your kill points, you're going to be really happy you wrote all that down.
Yeah. Yep, and
because
it's going to make it so much
reality
easier,
is,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's the big place, you know, there's 40K going on, Warmahordes, I think X-Wing is happening, and there's even D&D sessions this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. So if someone comes up to me and goes, hey, I won my game, I killed 1,240 points of their units, I might write down 1,200. But you know, at the end of the day, if you have a pen and paper, say no, it was 1,240. I'm like, okay, go down good.
No, I'm right there. Yeah,
it helps me a whole hell of a lot too.
Yeah, right. Well, I think as well a big one. That's actually a piece of advice that I've been asking a number of TOs over the last year for advice. That is the first time that someone's ever said that. and I really dig it. It took me 3 or 4 tournaments to realize, like, I've just got a little book, and as we play the game, I just write shit down. Like,
Yep.
and,
Very smart.
And even to the extent where, sometimes, like, I've played very competitive games of War Dollies, which I've also loved. I love narrative games. I love competitive games. I love everything in between, from open to competitive. I am a big moth for War Dollies, and wherever there's some color, that's where I'll go. I prefer the competitive stuff, but I'll go anywhere. I'm a 20-cent whore of Age of Sigmar. But the one that really stands out to me is when you're playing really competitive games, or when it gets down to the nitty gritty. Say that you guys like measure a charge, and you're like, okay, this is my plan. I need to do this and get this charge. It's a Hail Mary, but I can make it happen. You're like, all right, sweet. So we agree. You need to make a 9-inch charge in this to make that happen. You just write it down in your little book. The things that happen in the game. Now, sometimes that leads to awesome stories. Like, I remember keeping track of a game, and I had this hero that just wouldn't die no matter what happened. And I'm like, that's a great story. But the flip side is it stops problems down the line where it's like, oh no, but remember this happened in turn 1? No, that was turn 2. No, this was blah. Like everyone could fucking argue. If it's written down, it's kind of like a police officer. A police officer, like, asking me, like, all right, what's going on? Not scary. If they pull out a pen and paper, I'm like, what the fuck are you writing? Taser, I know what you're doing. You're going to tase me. Or if I'm in America, you're probably going to shoot me and delete the body cam footage. Probably can't say that. Probably shouldn't have said that. All right. Well, that's all right. I'll edit that out of the podcast. I'm like, okay, you're going to tase me. That's scary because tasers equal pain, and I don't want to piss myself in front of everybody. But if you pull out a pen and paper, you could be writing anything. You're like Detective Pikachu. That is the most confronting form of Pikachu that exists. So I think that's a great piece of advice for people, and I'm probably going to be telling people that for a long time. So thank you, Austin, for bringing this to me.
Yeah, no problem.
That is the kind of advice that people don't realize until they're like 3 or 4 games in, and they're like, this is really, really good. Vanilla Sass saying that you got to be careful who you hook up with at Kippers, because you might end up buying a house with them, which is, yeah, right, okay. I assume, speaking from experience, I don't know if that's a common thing at Kippers, but yeah, everyone who goes to Kippers, please be very, very careful that you don't end up just like who you do maybe meet and have a very good handshake with. Just be careful, because you might end up purchasing real estate. Is that a regular thing, Austin? Should we be concerned with that?
I'm not sure the exact context of that.
Yep.
What I do know was, for, again, throwback to the 30K players, after the first day, there was a house party.
Okay, God, yeah.
Which involved, I won't get too many details, won't name names, but as far as I know, I believe it was, it sounds awful, but it was the end result of a divorce, and the person in question got the house, so he made a big party, and I don't know, maybe he sold the house to someone, who knows, but none of the 30K players showed up the next day, so
What?
there's that.
The whole thing. The whole tournament didn't show up.
Day 2 of 30K. Day 2 of 30K didn't happen.
No. No. That's
they went all in on the drinking aspect.
Okay.
And you know what? Kudos.
Okay, we need to first, I just need to before we need to address this. Chat, just chill the fuck out for a second. So there's a story in Australia. I'm just going to take you to this story from Australia before we deal with what you just told me about, because I need to process this. I need time right now. So in Australia, there's a story. Basically, there's a tournament. I believe it's called the Nova Open, and in Australia, and it was 40K.
Yep.
And you get penalized more for not showing up than you do for conceding, right? So even if you're drunk as fuck, you kind of want to turn up, play a little bit, and concede. So what happened? Sorry, hold on 2 seconds. Oop. So what happened? There we go. what ended up happening was this bloke came to play day 2, game 1, hungover as a human being can possibly be. Just like max level under the weather. And he took out his figure case and he took his models out and he put them on the table. And then curiously, he took the foam from his figure case that no longer had models in it, put it under the table, with broken eyes, looked at his opponent and was like, I concede, you win. And then laid down under the table using the foam from his models as a pillow while he slept.
Oh my God.
And then slept for the first round. I don't know what happened after that. That's where the story ends. I can confirm that this happened because a mate of mine from my War Dolly club back in Australia, D3 Mortal Wounds, shout out to you beautiful people, Brod was there. And he confirms that it is real and that it did happen. Now that for me, okay, you say, oh my God, but that for me has been the standard. That's been the tippity top. And what you've just introduced me to is a world where not one person was incapable of turning up for day 2 because they were drunk. Because let's be honest, it happens at every tournament. An entire game system didn't rock up for day 2. Because they were too drunk. And this is the game system that probably spent the most amount of money on their army. 30K.
Hands down.
Hands down, spent 2 to 3 times more than anyone else there on their army. The entire system didn't show up for day 2. Fuck, if you were the one person who could just crawl their way to the tournament, you win, right? You get first place and everything. Was the TO there? Or was the TO also curled up in a ball praying for it all to end?
I think the TO wasn't there, now I think about it.
So no one could fucking play.
I will say, there was 2 people there for 30K. However, they weren't really interested in playing because they were hungover to shit.
Yeah.
They left very quick because no one else was there.
Yep.
I went to the bathroom, and so did one of them, and they sat in the stall beside me, and you can imagine the horrors I heard.
Yeah, you know, like those horror movies where someone and a monster go into a room, and then all you hear is noise, and you're like, fuck, the audio of this is so much more disturbing than the visual could ever be. And I feel like that was the situation you found yourself in, right?
Yeah, pretty accurate, yeah.
Yeah, good. So, Nosebane Stoked says, sounds like the 30K players are awesome. Cool Bunny maybe wanting to change from Age of Sigmar to 30K.
No.
No. We can get drunk. I promise you we can get drunk. You know what? So, yep, no, don't worry. I'm confident that V doesn't have time to build and paint a 30K army. Correct, V? Green White, yeah, saying that the 30K guys over there love to drink. But yeah, Lockdowns to Mad, signing up for Tier 1 for subscribing. Beautiful. Welcome. We're just starting our little hobby baby journey. So obviously I am, for anyone who subscribes or is sharing a subscription during the Aussie Wargamer show, I am carrying our hobby baby. I don't know what we're going to call it. It's 9 months till it's born, so we don't need to think about that, and don't question the fact that I'm drinking while I'm pregnant with our hobby baby. But yeah, basically they're maniacs. Correct, there are lots and lots of maniacs. Gnomesbane asking who it was. I don't know who it was. The Rage of Sigmar dudes, potentially. And Cool Bunny's asking if you're going to offer, because obviously 30K had a house party that stopped the tournament in its tracks. Cool Bunny is asking if you're offering to throw the Age of Sigmar house bunny to compete with that level. Is that a thing you could do?
Oh man, probably not. I do live in my parents' basement right now.
Yeah, fair. That's not going to work out. Unless we get them drunk. No, I feel like a better option would be like a pub somewhere where all of the Canadians can do picklebacks and tell themselves it's for the electrolytes. Lugnuts to Mad's going to bring the Brute. I'm very excited to smell you. Anyone who's missed out on that, go and listen to the Sense of Sigmar show where myself and the wonderful V went through what you should smell like to play your army. Yes, we're all very excited. Gnomesbane's stoked to abandon the wedding, apparently, and come and get drunk with your parents. So that's a good sign. Yeah, right? Good. Gnomesbane always there with the good life choices. But look, we're getting towards the end of the show. It's almost time to say goodbye. Thank you so much for your time, and everyone who's been in the chat or watching along. Lovely to have you. If you're listening to it back, good to have you here from the future. But like, I guess I always like to throw out shameless plugs because fuck it, we could try to segue into a plug, but fuck that. Let's just be completely honest. Shameless plugs. Talk to me about what I should know.
Well, one of the sponsors this year is a store called Dice Bag Games.
Yep.
It is it's the game store in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
They've been big supporters throughout the years. I believe they've been with Kippers Mele, been a sponsor since day one.
Shit. Okay, that's good. That's like, it's not just people who are supporting it. It's like OG representation. They're like the mafioso of the hobby. Yep, I like it. Cool.
So big shout out to Jessica, Colin, Paul, Jordan, and Ben for being great sponsors for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and so anyone while we're there should probably duck out and just buy something, right? Like, I think that's
absolutely. Dice Bay Games will actually have a vendor table there.
Fuck yeah!
They'll be bringing product, all the new stuff.
See, I'm a big fan, and what I've said, even to be honest, back when I used to work for Games Workshop, is pay where you play. So if you're playing at an event and there is a sponsor of that event, and you're like, fuck, I need some dice, I need anything like a 3-inch measure, or if there's a cool new release. Go and throw a little bit of support that way, because the more that players support the people who provide us with our drug, the more that they will support the events where they can peddle it like a drug dealer. You're basically like that person with the drugs at a festival. What you're doing is recognizing we're all junkies for plastic crack, right? And then you're just being there and being like, hey, while you're doing the plastic crack thing, I got a little bit more for you. And I'm like, yeah, right, I'm weak. I want it, do it. So yeah, I'd throw that out there. So they've got a stall at the event, head by to the store, go and check out the store, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But pay where you play, throw some love their way. Anything else that you want to quickly spruik? Or where can people find out more about the Age of Sigmar event at Kippers?
There is a Facebook event. Can't remember the exact name right now. Give me 2 seconds. I believe it's just Age of Sigmar Kippers Mele, but
Yep.
I'll confirm that. It's an open event, so you can just look it up.
Can have a look. Lugnut's saying you
everyone can have a
actually
look.
need dice, so there you go. Just don't buy dice and buy them prior to game one. That way you've got fresh dice rolling fresh sixes, right? Like you haven't rolled out the good lucky number.
Absolutely.
That's a good move. I like that. Cool Bunny needing objective tokens. Lugnuts, I have 100 of the 40k orc dice, but they're too big to roll 90. Yeah, fuck off. No. And Greenwire is just like, yeah, give me that plastic heroin. That's the problem. Other hobbies, you like archery, right? I'm sure you can always spend money on new bows and new arrows, but they don't release a new bow or new arrow every week. That's the problem with plastic crack, right? They're like, hey, I know that you play Age of Sigmar, but we're releasing this cool new Space Marine like stealth warsuit, and I see it and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll give that a try. Like, if you're into archery and they release a new handgun, you probably don't go, yeah, damn, I'll sell me some of them bullets. But plastic crack is the worst because it transfers over. No matter what, there's something to tickle you. So they can find it at Facebook. Where is there if people like Google it, will they find anything, or should we hunt Facebook? Is that the best way to find it?
There's a website. It's just kippersmele.ca.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you all the events being hosted this year.
Yep.
Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k, and I believe Kings of War is being hosted this year.
Oh shit, yeah.
But among other games, that's where you also buy your tickets.
Yep, groovy.
So that's probably the most important place to go.
Yeah, that's the one that you need, because if you show up without a ticket, they probably won't let you play.
Probably.
It's kind of like going to the movies. Like, you can sit down in the cinema, but people are going to start asking you questions. And the answer shouldn't just be that you're really passionate about Avengers Endgame, but you can't afford the ticket because they probably won't agree with you and they'll probably kick you out. Lugnuts Demad is agreeing, saying like, yeah, true. It's the truth. But yeah, groovy. Is there any last things that you'd like to shamelessly plug before we move on to the all-important final question of the show?
Let's see. Well, final plug will be thank you for everyone who attended last year.
Mm-hmm.
We made a full house. which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So because of them, like Andy Selwood was
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Good guy.
Just a legend.
And
I mean, I played him yesterday, day before. We literally played a day ago. Just an absolute fucking legend. And also a brother tournament organizer of your own. So
yep.
a good human being in general, yes?
So thanks for everyone who came last year. Thank you again this year, because I know most of you intend to.
Yep.
And for anyone else who is thinking about it, rest assured you will have a good time.
Yeah.
And thank you in advance for coming.
Well, mate, I'm going to be there. I'm excited. Lugnuts to Mad is I assume coming because you're passionately aggressive about everything. So I assume you're in the chat. There's a few people in the chat who are planning on coming.
Love it.
Some people in the chat who are like, I know Vanilla Sass or Vanilla Sauce. I know how to pronounce your name. I'm never going to pronounce it right. Because I'm stubborn. But I know he's trying to decide between armies, I believe. Not sure between Iron Jaws or Fire Slayers, which is kind of cool. We might see new, the mixed Auric clans battle tone before then. So yeah, I'm keen. I'm excited. I'm kind of excited that in my immediate future, the two next tournaments I'm looking at are completely polar opposites, right? Like I've got one where I'm like, sweet, competitive, straightforward, I'm just focused on gameplay and smart tactical play. And then another one where I'm like, I probably might not always be able to go a whole turn without needing to go to the bathroom. But I'm very excited for everything in between there. So yeah, I'm keen. I'm not keen for the fucking flying plane death machine. That I don't think I could handle, so I will
catch a ferry.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. But yeah, I'm keen. I'm excited. But we do have, as I've started finishing every show with a ridiculous question that I ask the guest. Are you ready for your ridiculous question?
Oh, I don't know if I could ever be ready, but here we go.
No. Can you please confirm for me that I warned you before the show I would have a dumb question for you, but you would get no prep? Yeah, I said that, right? I was
no prep. You said dumb question, but I won't know in advance.
Yes, good. So because I don't want anyone to think that you have any more time than anyone else, chat, you are also welcome to the ridiculous question. But first, some backstory to the ridiculous question. And I very much hope I don't upset anyone who is in the chat listening to this back or whatever. Now, I have many celiacs in my family. Now, celiacs are people who are medically allergic to gluten. Now, what that means is that you have had to have usually a camera stuck up your bum, so a colonoscopy and a blood test, to confirm that you can't consume gluten. Now, if you want to tell me that you are gluten intolerant but have not had those tests, I don't believe you. So I guess what I'm saying is you're either a celiac or you can eat a piece of toast. So that's where I am right now. That's the backstory. I don't believe in gluten intolerance. You can at me all you fucking like on Twitter, anyone listening back to this, at Dan Unsupervised, and I will happily have that conversation with you. But there is no such thing as gluten intolerance. You are either a celiac, in which case you can't have gluten, but they are developing an immunity drug in Australia right now. There was a test, but my family weren't eligible to be a part of it, so they still aren't eating pizza. I got fucking deep there. Sorry, that dragged me in. So arguably, what I would like to put out there is I want to know which character in all of the mortal realms do you think is that person who says that they're gluten intolerant despite the fact that medically it has been proved that there is no such thing as gluten intolerance. You just want an excuse to not eat fucking bread so that you can be like, yeah, but it looks so good. It was definitely the gluten. No, it's not. It's that you're not eating cake and pie anymore, Cecilia. So anyone in the chat, that is what I'm going to throw to you. You can choose. What I would like to know is who is the most likely to be like, I'm gluten intolerant and fucking isn't. So Lugnuts to Mad is saying the answer is obviously orcs. I'm hoping that was in regards to another question. Dad Hammer's stoked because as a chef is aware of and hates this, The Notice Sass flagging like people who say they're lactose intolerant and then destroy cheese. Orc Boy Phil is saying that you agree. And that's why you ignored it when the doctor suggested it to me. If the doctor suggested you were celiac, that is a genuine thing. That's like being allergic to bee stings. Listen to your doctor or you'll be pooing fire. Lug nuts to mad, yep, fair. If you actually have something, that is fine, but I'm excited to see where we're going. And Mr. Selwood saying, how do you find a triathlete who's also gluten intolerant at a party? Don't worry, they'll find you. Very good. So now there's a few people in the chat flagging some things. Do you have an answer? Because I'd rather get yours before we hear anything from the chat, just to see who you think is the most likely to say in Age of Sigmar, yeah, I'm gluten intolerant, so I can't have gluten. And then you're like, well, there's some gluten in the soy sauce, and they're like, oh yeah, no, but I'm just intolerant, so some is fine. Who is that person?
To me,
Yeah,
I'd say that person would be Lady Olinder.
Oh, Lady Olinda. Yeah, and the best part of that is she doesn't even have a fucking stomach. Like, I assume if she eats anything, it just falls straight through her. So it has no effect. And she's like, yeah, but no, I can't have any gluten. So, yeah, okay, good. So you're thinking...
Like, she seems very preppy. Like, she has those two banshees kind of carrying her dress around. And she kind of has that whole high and mighty type of look to her.
Think. Yeah, and the model, even the model, it's like its head is stuck up and it's all like flexed out at you. It's like, oh,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm here, and it's clearly is just paid for like 10,000 Instagram likes or some shit like that, and that's where. So Lady Olinda, yep, I can confirm. I'm with you. Lady Olinda 100% both says she's gluten intolerant without any medical evidence to prove that. And also, like, just floats around hoity-toity, paying for likes. That's what we've confirmed about her, right?
Yep.
Yep, definitely. Greenwire saying Sigma. Sigma, I can see it, but I can also see Sigma as just using it as a loose excuse to only ever order steak and be like, oh, no, I'm just really into steak. You know, he's really, like, I can see that as his. Lugnuts to Mad is saying an elf prince, any elf prince. Which, yeah, I'd believe that. Just every fucking elf is gluten intolerant. None of them are celiacs. All of them are gluten intolerant. I dig it. Gnomesbane suggesting Neve Black Talon. I can see that because she's like the fittest Stormcast, right? Like
I'd say so. She's the Huntmaster or whatever.
And I think rules-wise, she's also the only model on foot that has like a super speed run where she just like runs behind the other running shit. So yeah, I can see that. She's definitely a triathlete or like a marathon runner who is like, oh no, but also gluten is the reason that I succeed now because I'm not having any. Dad Hammer and Vanilla just are simultaneously saying techless. Which I think, right? Yep. You reckon?
I could see that.
Yeah.
Seems a very preppy elf type character.
And I also, like, Teclis, let's remember, Teclis is the one that accidentally was, like, created a species of his own race that he didn't like and, like, just was like, Butterfingers and just, like, dropped them in the ocean to try and get rid of them. So, yeah, I can also see him being, like, a pseudo gluten intolerant human being. Cool Bunny saying the Maw Crusher, a drama queen. I think that's just that the Maw Crusher has like violent flatulence and poo at the best of times. So, you know, right? Like, I can see a Maw Crusher being one of those people that's like, I'm lactose intolerant, but I'm still going to eat a pizza. Mr. Selwood's suggesting the Gash, which yep. I can see, but more I see him as just being really specific, right? Like Nagash trying to order something at a restaurant would be a nightmare because you'd be like, he just won't fucking stop talking about himself, right?
I imagine he'd be really picky of his food. I remember, I think it'd be like that one episode of The Simpsons when Bart is getting pepper on his meal and goes, a little more, a little more, too much, take it back.
Yep, I'm there. I'm right there with you. And also because, and the thing is, like, he does it knowing he's gonna do that in the same way. He's like, I just want to hurt you. It's just a flex to prove that he's the strongest. Nemesis is saying Alariel, she's probably full vegan. But it's not just that.
Yeah?
I feel that like, but would Alariel be vegan or would she just be a carnivore, as in no greens? This is my
Now,
question.
that came
to
up
the
last
chat.
week, right?
Yeah.
I thought so.
I'm not sure, and I'm not convinced because I either think that I see Alariel as being vegan because it means that she gets to be high and mighty about something. However, at the same time, I think that she'd be a carnivore because she'd be like, well, plants have just as much right to exist as anyone. So if you're going to eat a grain of rice, I'm going to eat your friend Jeremy. So yeah, I think she could go either way. Lugna Samad, sorry, pointing out that we did confirm that she doesn't want to eat her children. So she might just eat the squirrels. Fair. And Lugna Samad pointing out elves, you just know that they'd be annoying hipsters, and I feel that. Snoop DeVille saying Neferata. I kind of like that. I kind of like Neferata. Like, I can see that as her thing. But more so because she wants to be the person who caused a scene at the restaurant, right? Like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And yeah, she'd 100% just be like, oh, no, I like afterwards to her friend, she's like, oh, I'm not. I'm going to fucking eat an entire panini. I just wanted to make a scene. Sorry, I'm just cracking another beer, so there'll be a loud little click there.
Nope, by all means.
Now a satisfying
Yeah, Neferata, to me, she's like, she wouldn't be like, oh, sorry, I can't have that. Please send it back. She'd be like, oh my God, you're trying to poison me.
Yes.
And she'd make a whole deal of it.
She'd be making it about the fact that you definitely tried to kill her and she's such a victim and life is a really terrible thing for her. Shit, I can see that. She's not, whereas Nagash orders it just to be a prick, she orders it to like then have all her friends and be like, did you see that he nearly tried to kill me? That's what just happened? And then like all the friends like, yeah, I know, definitely. Like what just happened was clear assassination attempts. She's like, right, I'm usually the one doing the assassinating, so I don't appreciate it when I'm the one that's aimed with it. Andy Seller pointing out that Alariel does 25 wounds, which is just a little stab at the fact that when we played our game against his Sylvaneth versus my Dispossessed, in a turn, Alariel did, like, before she got to attack her, Beetle did 25 fucking wounds to a unit of Hammerers, and then the next turn did 16 wounds to Iron Drakes, even though she only had a handful of wounds left. She is a fucking beast. And if someone ever leaves Alariel backfield until turn 3, turn 4, yeah, she's still a terrifying monster of fuck you. So yeah, I wasn't stoked about that. Cool Bunny's saying that witch elves aren't hipsters, so yeah, fair enough. I can see witch elves not really being coherent enough to take an order. They're probably that drunk that they can't even order gluten anything. So yeah, but they will gut you while you sleep. I would agree with that. Lugnuts Demad is saying that they don't sleep, which would make it hard to kill them in it because they got told by their teeth not to, it stands out for greenskins. For yourself, your armies, just quickly, any of them got any characters that probably would say that they have some kind of weird allergy?
Let's see. Let's go through my armies real quick with some characters here.
Because you're a bit like me, right? Like you're a bit of a hobby, like butterfly hobby moth. You float from shit to shit.
Oh, non-stop.
It is unrelenting and constant. Yeah, fair.
The amount of times I spend hundreds of dollars on an army, I don't want them anymore, and just sell them for cheap to someone else.
Yeah, and you're like, the models are really cool. This is what I want. The models are like, and then you're like, oh no.
But let's see. I don't think it's a silly allergy, but I'm sure the Celestin Prime would say he's allergic to chaos.
Yeah, but that would more be in an aggressive way. He'd be like, give me all your chaos so I can eat it so that nobody else can. He's like,
that's a good point.
I've heard your mashed potatoes are good. And you're like, yeah, they're really good. And they're like, I want all of your mashed potatoes so that nobody else can ever eat them. That I feel. that would be the Celestin Prime's move in a holier than thou way.
Let's see. It's not a character, but I can just imagine a bone grinder giant, like the big giant, being allergic to something. He'll pick something up, take a bite, and just break out in hives and go, "What the hell's happening?"
Yeah, and it's definitely not anyone who is minding their own business though. I think that's the thing that scares me about all of the giants in Age of Sigmar. Is I'm like they're not even aware of how they fuck you up. Like at least if some like hate crime committing Stormcast show up at your door and kill you because you had the common cold because they thought it was Nurgle. At least if that happens, you're like, yeah, I understand why. Whereas a Gargant could just like stomp on you accidentally because it like farted too hard and fell slightly to the side. So yeah, I'm there. I'm feeling it. It's weird, but it's okay. So I take it from those two. We've got an idea of where you're sitting. So like we spoke about Stormcast before and having a clear bias towards them. But yeah, I can see that. I can see a Gargant being a bad allergic to gluten. You know, like probably is legitimately allergic to it and just keeps consuming it until it farts itself to death.
He probably thinks he's getting drunk or something.
Yeah. Lugnuts to Mad has 12 Ale Guzzler Gargants, apparently, and it's just waiting for them to be a standalone army. There's at least you've got a mercenary formation, right? So this is the thing that I think's cool. I'm not sure if they count towards your monster limit, but could you potentially take like the Grug brothers, the giant, the Gargant formation in an army that can already take giants and have super more giants? That'd be cool. And Orc Boy Phil rounding it out with a fantastic response saying that you just think the old High Elf range is allergic to existing. Which, it might be, yeah, right, that's a little bit on the nose, yeah?
Oh, that is kicking people when they're down.
They definitely took a scalpel to them. I am of the opinion that is not the worst thing in the world. I hate to say it because I know that it's affected some people and they're not stoked about it. But for me, unfortunately, some things have to slowly step away so that we can have new cool things, and that was one of them. And I'm so sorry for saying it because we lost some dispossessed models as well. But if they make room for new cool shit, that's unfortunately the way games work. In the same way that no one gets shitty at Microsoft for not making the old Xbox anymore. You know, like no one's going like, fuck, the first Xbox, why don't they make it? Like, you just accept that the technology moves on. Like, over the course of a decade, sometimes models need to not be made anymore so that we can have new sexy shit, because it's not like they can just continually keep making things bigger. They're not like Mandingo. So I think that we're in an all right place, right? Anyway, that's just aimless rambling. We've answered the final question. Are there any last things that you'd like to add? Any shout outs that you want to give? Things that you want to remind us about? I will say again, Kippers Mele, have a look at it. It's on an island. You don't have to take a plane to get there if you don't want to die. And there's lots of shit to do. But any last things you want to say? Leave us with?
Yeah. Big shout out to Jen. She runs everything. She's the reason this whole event is happening.
Like
Age
the
Sigmar
Mega Mind,
40K.
right? Like they just
she's the Mega Mind.
Yep.
So big shout out to her for doing this for 7 years now, I believe. And also good on her for contacting me last year because I had posted interest like, hey, who wants to play Age of Sigmar?
Oh my gosh, so she's like your Yoda, right? Like, or your Qui-Gon.
That's a good way to
The whole reason that you're a TO is because she made you her Padawan.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a beautiful metaphor. Yes. So picking up there, she's the big tick, obviously the head honcho. So if anybody needs to like get to you and like leverage you in like a mafia way, they like she's the one that can twist your arm, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I guess simultaneously, don't mess with her. But the way to get to the TO is through, just saying. If you want to get like really mafia on this or Breaking Bad, That's the way to break. Who else? Anyone else you want to throw out?
Well, I know a lot of friends tuned in to hear me rant and rave.
Some
So
of them
shout
have
out to
also
them.
thrown you some shit as well, which is what friends are for.
Yep.
Why we don't...
Maybe I might be getting a lot of milk this year now,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I
But
feel
we'll
like
see.
you're going to be the Dairy Queen. I can't wait. But yeah, I'm keen for it. I'm excited, and yeah, I'm kind of in a place where I'm super excited for the tournament in general because like I said before, I think it's really cool that you've put together a tournament based entirely around like a certain style of play. That random, unexpected, positive, like, you know what, things are going to go random, so you may as well just relax. I really, really like that. Because you're not wishy-washying about. And that's the thing that I find kind of a little bit frustrating sometimes when tournaments like,
Yeah.
we are the hyper-competitive, super total end of the world. But lol, we're using shifting objectives, Star Strike, and all of these other random objectives, so who the fuck knows? You could lose because of a dice roll. So I really kind of like that it's sitting in one camp rather than trying to make everybody happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a big struggle I had last year, was trying to appease everyone. And you make one change when another person gets upset, so you change it back when another person gets
and
upset.
that's it.
So
I think that what should happen is tournament organizers should say, this is the tournament. If you're into it, come. If you're not, don't. And the thing is, I might not necessarily be into it, but I'm like, fuck, I'm into playing 5 games of Warhammer, so fuck it. I'm just going to go anyway just for a fun weekend. And that, I think...
That's one thing I actually wanted to add.
Yeah.
Now that you just brought it up, is even if you think this isn't your jam, if you think you can make it, it might be worth trying.
Yeah, right? Like, give anything a shot. I definitely know that for myself. The first time I ever went to CanCon, which is now the biggest Age of Sigmar tournament in the world, and still, which is incredible that it's in Australia and like it's in our capital city, but you would be forgiven for thinking CanCon is held in a major city. It's where our government is, and given how ineffective our government is, it's pretty much like the same sign for the city. No, it's fucking lovely. Canberra, you're a beautiful city. I love everyone who lives there, but let's be honest, you're not Sydney. I remember the first year that I went there being like, oh, I don't know, it's so much effort, it's so far away, it's so much work. And then I went and I had just the most spectacular time. And I would think that for anyone thinking about going to a tournament, whether you're a competitive player, whether you're the other side, whether you've only just started, just go and have some fun and go with that attitude and you will have a good time. Because I don't think anyone can be disappointed by that. Excuse me. Whoa, that's a lot of beer going down in a short space of time. Which is probably a sign that we should start to wrap things up. But yeah, any last words of wisdom? Do you have a pearl that you would leave us with? I don't know if you're a Deepkin player, so I don't know if pearls come naturally to you, but is there just a little plink of War Dolly wisdom that you would throw to someone? Whether it's as simple as like paint your fucking models before you buy more, or one day Age of Sigmar will end and there'll be a new game. Like, is there one pearl of wisdom that you would leave us with?
The one thing I'd say is, sometimes you get salty, sometimes things don't go your way, but at the end of the day, it's a game.
Yep.
Have fun.
Yeah, that's it. When it all comes down to it, you are just rolling fucking dice while pushing lumps of plastic at your opponent and pretending that they do things, right? Like, it's like we're seeing Toy Story. It's not happening. We're just pretending it's happening. So let's not take ourselves too seriously. Also, because I think that one of my favorite things is when I stand there and yell at my War Dollies. Like actively. Like they're a naughty child. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you had to do 2 wounds. 2 wounds, it's all you needed. You just...
How didn't you make that charge?
Yeah, what? Or when just like that's not supposed to happen. Yeah, I am 100% there. Just take your foot off the gas and actually enjoy it. Cheers. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm so sorry for taking up so much of your time, but it's been a lovely to talk to you. I can't actually wait to meet you in person because we haven't met in human face to face.
No, we haven't.
No, we'll talk again before, I'm sure, because I need to work out how to get to your island without taking my feet off of terra firma. But yeah, I'm just sorry. Andy Selwood is actually very confused that it isn't real. It's kind of ridiculous, but it isn't. It isn't. It's made out of things. Lots of people suggesting boats is the answer to no planes, and I feel like that's always been the answer. But yeah, thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you, and well, I guess for those who are coming, we'll see you at Kippers, and for those who aren't,
Absolutely.
they'll just have your lovely, lovely pipes.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Thanks, mate. And
No problem.
everyone who's been tuning in, thank you so much for coming and chilling out with us this evening. It's been my pleasure. And yeah, take it easy, drink lots of water, and sign that petition that got started for Rob to stop dying every couple of months, because that's just really, really killing the vibe. You know, like it's a lot of work. It's intense. And yeah, and let's be honest, he needs to drink more water. But cheers. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. Take it easy.